team, I mean the 33 and the 31 and RCR as a whole, they just don't have fast cars this year. And without fast cars, you can't do anything. And even Burton, I mean, he looked good for a small portion of the race, and he ended up finishing like 16th. He finished behind Busch and Kane, two guys that he needed to beat.
Burton actually took the lead at some point.
Yeah, he led 2 laps, but ended up getting shuffled back by the end of the race. So, I mean, I think this was a very interesting race because there were very big chase implications, which is a lot of people talk about Daytona like, oh, it's going to be a wild card. A lot of things can happen, but very rarely does it in this way that happened today. I mean, there was major movement, I think, along the 11th to 15th place drivers. So
it's going to be very. That is for sure going to be the race to watch. It's like 10th to like 15th.
Oh yeah.
Well, I told you at one point in the race, 10th through 15th were separated by 13 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then let's see, Kane and Montoya got decent finishes. Burton got a decent finish. Martin, Rudiman. I don't remember where Rudiman finished. I have to look him up.
He was involved in the wreck.
He was. That's right. So he finished poorly. Yeah, he finished 36th. Bad. So that was a bad run for him. So I mean that hurt him, and he's still in front of Burton. He's still got about 21 points on Burton.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I don't know. It's just I agree with you. There were some very big chase hopefuls that were affected. So
yeah. So that's all for NASCAR this week. It looks like we have some little blurbs to talk about before we head into our NFL talk for this week. The first thing, and this was just I think yesterday this happened, or officially. It's been rumored for a couple days, but this happened for sure in the NBA, which is the next big free agent off-season move, which was that Rasheed Wallace signed with the Celtics. Chris, you watch a lot more basketball than I do. Tell us what this means.
I think it doesn't change anything that I said on this show last Friday. I think that the Cavaliers, the Celtics, the Magic, and the Pistons are still the 4 teams to watch. I feel like all of these moves with Rasheed Wallace and what's-his-face in Orlando, Vince Carter, and Shaquille O'Neal and Charlie Villanueva and Ben Gordon. I feel like they're all – it's actually really interesting to me. It's just like a chess match, like a lateral move chess match kind of thing that they're all trying to do to one-up. That's basically what they're trying to do, is to one-up the other 3. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how the standings change. I think the team that will make the biggest difference this year are the Pistons, because they were so poor last year. They barely made the playoffs. They finished 500 or below 500, and they were they were the last seed. Right. And I think that the other 3 teams are just lateral moves. I don't even know if any of these drastically improve the teams, because you think about it. The Magic got Vince Carter, but they lost Turkoglu.
Who?
One of their key players.
Sure he is, since I haven't heard of him.
He was a very good player for them. Well, I guess the Celtics didn't really lose anyone.
They didn't lose anybody. They just added Rasheed Wallace.
And then the Cavs lost
Ben Wallace.
No, yeah, but they also lost
him too.
They also lost Bujicic.
Bujicic?
Yeah.
Who?
That guy the other one that they traded. I don't remember his name.
Okay, these guys are important because I haven't heard of them.
Well, no, they were whatever his name was a role player, because I remember several games where he had that clutch shot at the end. I mean, obviously not in the playoffs, but I think that these are getting overhyped, all of them, including Shaquille O'Neal. I still think the Lakers are the best team in basketball.
I don't think Shaquille will make a difference, but one could argue, or I would argue even to a certain extent, that he could be LeBron's sidekick. That's what LeBron has been missing, was a sidekick. So he needs a sidekick. But I mean, I don't know. The Celtics, there's something about this whole we got 3 players, we got a couple players a couple years ago, and that made us awesome now thing that makes me just wonder if that's just gonna fall apart after that first year.
That's what I have said that all along. I have said that they it very rarely works out that you sign the 2 or 3 big free agents, you win the championship. They did, but I think I don't think they're going to win another one. I think that they peaked and they're done.
Well, and if that's the case, then it was worth it
for a championship. Yeah.
But if not, if Garnett and Allen and Pierce all come back strong next year and they play well, and Wallace comes in and plays well, this team got stronger from last year because they're not injured, and they got stronger because they had another player. They could conceivably be the favorite. I'm not going to call them the favorite because I don't really feel it, but
yeah, no. And if it came to, if that is the case, which I can see, you made very good points with Rashid and with the three of them coming back healthy. I can see where somebody would say that, but if it's going to come down to it, it's going to be a heck of a fight between them and the Cavs, because the Cavs did not change anything other than they lost Ben Wallace and they gained Shaq, so they're still pretty much the core is the same team. So I think that it's going to be an interesting thing. The Magic took a step backward, but the Pistons took a step forward. So I don't know. It's just going to be very interesting, and we'll have a preview of this.
And maybe even the Magic took a step forward with Vince Carter. Who knows? We don't really know until they play the games, but it's worth noting. Right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So also we should mention real fast is that the Mavs signed Jason Kidd again.
Yep.
Even if that matters to anybody anymore, Jason Kidd,
Well, he's
7
still a
years,
decent player.
7 years after he was relevant, really.
Yeah. So also yesterday,
it's racing stuff first. Finally we had an American step up and do something worth note. Now he lost still, but hey, at least it was competitive, right?
Yeah. Well,
just like American soccer.
I am a huge tennis fan. I play tennis. I used to play tennis. And I of course wanted to watch the finals between Andy Roddick, who was the 6th seed, and the number 2 seed Roger Federer.
Yeah, and it's Wimbledon, which is the big one.
One of the 4 majors. Yeah,
I would. But isn't Wimbledon the biggest one though? I think it's the one. If you ask people, talk about name a tennis tournament, everybody says Wimbledon.
Well,
I think
that's the general population that doesn't. It's one of the. I think the French Open is huge. The Australian Open is huge.
If a casual fan, if casual observers or even non-casual observers can name it, that's your biggest event. In my opinion.
Well,
anyway,
and I ended up watching the entire 4.5 hour match. It was just incredible to watch. It started at like 8 a.m. I was still at the gym when it started, and it ended at like after lunchtime. And it was just incredible because what's interesting is, and I was talking to Kyle about this yesterday, at Wimbledon, you have to win 3 out of 5.
Right.
And in the 5th set, at Wimbledon, there is no tiebreaker. So you have to win in tennis. I'm not insulting you. I'm just,
I don't know the rules.
Yeah. In tennis, you have to win 6 games in a set to win a set, but you have to win by 2. So the minimum is 6-4.
Okay.
But if the other player gets to 5, then you have to win 7-5. But if he gets to 6, then it goes to a tiebreaker. However, there is no tiebreaker in the 5th set. So Roddick won the first set 7-5. He lost the second set 7-6 because of the tiebreaker. He lost the third set 7-6. He won the 4th set 6-3. So then they got to the 5th set, and every one of them. The key in tennis is you want to win your serve.
Right.
And Andy Roddick has the best serve in tennis.
Right.
It's like he was hitting up 140 mile per hour serves.
I have heard that before, that Roddick is the acer.
And so the key is. They say like in other things, in baseball, you want to win 3 out of 4 at home and stay 500 on the road. Those old adages. Well, in tennis, you want to win your serve and break. They call it breaking the other serve, the other player's serve once in a while. And the key was he did that. He did that. They went to 6-6. The final set was 30 games.
Nice.
So it was 7. It was 7-5, 6-7, 6-7, 6-3, 16-14, and it was just an incredible match. And Roger Federer obviously won his 15th major, which is the most all time.
To me, the big news, which is that he passed Pete Sampras.
Yeah, who was at 14.
And I think the question we have to ask ourselves is where does an accomplishment like that lie in the world of sports? Because we all know the big, well-known records everybody talks about, the home run record, to a lesser extent the touchdown record for a quarterback in football, even wins in NASCAR and pretty much any auto racing and all that. Where does 15 majors in tennis lie? Is it the greatest? Is it very good?
I think it's huge. Now the thing is the casual person, probably people that watch the show, are not going to say that because tennis is just not. It's like soccer. I'm just going to be honest.
I would argue that like tennis, like golf,